Hello everyone. Hello my dear students. Let's discuss the test paper. Hello my dear students. Let's discuss this paper. It was the NEET Weekend Test 12 paper, and the syllabus of this paper was this. It was the female reproductive system of cockroach, the copulation, spermatophore formation, and all the developmental processes. Then the initial parts of frog, like introduction, external morphology, sexual dimorphism, and the organ systems, except that reproductive system and the developmental processes. So let's discuss this 51st question. In female cockroach, sperms are stored in female cockroach, sperms are stored in. Okay, so see, we are having this seminal vesicle, spermatheca, gynaetrium, and vestibulum. These four options we are having here. So what will be the answer? What will be the answer? Answer will be the spermatheca. Answer will be spermatheca. And why is it so? Because as you can see here, the other options are seminal vesicles. Seminal vesicles are found in the male cockroach. Okay, so it will not be the answer. The gynaetrium and vestibulum will be also not the answer, because the gynaetrium is this upper portion. Gynaetrium is this upper portion. This genital chamber is known as the gynaetrium. See, either you call it as genital atrium, this portion. Okay, genital atrium, or you can call it as gynaetrium. Okay, or you can call it as genital chamber. So it is the upper part of the brood pouch, and the lower part, this part is known as the vestibulum. So the deposition of the sperms are there in the spermatheca, this structure, this paired structure. Unequal, paired and unequal structure is the spermatheca. So it is the spermatheca in which the female cockroach sperms are stored. So 51 question number, and answer is second, spermatheca. Then it is the 52nd question. Match the following structure of cockroach and their number. So if we look at ootheca, so ootheca are 9 to 10 in number, while ovarian tubules are 8 in number in each ovary, and spermatheca are paired structures. Just a moment ago we discussed this. Okay, and ova and cocoon are 14 to 16. So A is matching to fourth. A is matching to fourth, so there is 50-50. It will, first and fourth will not be answered, and we are having ovarian tubules 8, so it is matching B with 1. B is with 1, so answer should be 3. Answer should be 3. Next is 53rd question. In cockroach, ovaries are located in abdominal segments. See, it is from the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and it is the 7th fused sternite. So it is from 2nd to 6th. It is from 2nd to 6th. So this will be the answer. 3rd will be the answer. Next, yes, associated question can be asked, like what is the location of testes? So testes are located from 4th to 6th. 4th, 5th, 6th segments are there, abdominal segments, which holds testes in case of male cockroaches. 54th question. In cockroach, ootheca is secreted by. See, what is ootheca? All of you know. See, theca means wall, and O means we are talking about the egg. So egg case or egg wall is ootheca, and it is secreted by these paired glands, these glands, the collateral glands. Okay, So the answer will be collateral glands. 54th question. Phallic gland are found in case of male cockroaches. Okay. Phallic gland is also known as conglobate gland. Utricular glands are mushroom glands, which are found in the male cockroaches again. Okay. So question can be framed like this also, that mark the odd one out. Okay. So the 3 glands out of 4 are belonging to male cockroach, and collateral glands are only found in the female cockroach. So it should be the answer. It should be the correct answer. Next is 55. How many structures are opening separately into the brood pouch of female cockroach? How many structures are opening separately into brood pouch of female cockroach? See, in this diagram you can easily observe that brood pouch is having one opening of spermatheca. Okay, one opening of spermatheca, one opening of the common oviduct or the vagina. It is the second opening, and 2 openings of the collateral gland on both sides. So the overall 4 openings are there. Overall 4 openings are there in the brood pouch of female cockroach. So third will be the answer. Then 56th question, which of the following is absent in the genital chamber of female cockroaches? And the options are spermatical pore, gonapophysis, genital pore, and anus. See, option 1, 2, and 3. Okay, option 1, 2, and 3 are related to reproductive system, but the genital chamber is not associated with anus. So the answer will be 4. The answer will be 4. Next question is 57th. Development of cockroach is described as holometabolous, hemimetabolous, ametabolous, porometabolous. So see, the developmental process or the metamorphosis is of actually different type. Okay, it is of different types. So we are having 4 terms: holometabolous, porometabolous, hemimetabolous, and ametabolous. Holometabolous is that kind of metamorphosis which is complete. Holometabolous, complete metamorphosis, in which there is egg, larva, pupa, imago. Okay, imago means adult. It means that there are all the possible stages there in the metamorphosis. Hemimetabolous development or hemimetabolous metamorphosis is that kind of development where it is incomplete. Okay, there is no larva or no pupa. There is a particular phase that is known as the naid. Okay, there is not known as the naid. It is incomplete metamorphosis. Holometabolous, it means complete metamorphosis. Ametabolous, it means without metamorphosis. If the egg is developing into the adult, then it is ametabolous. So porometabolous is that type of metamorphosis in which there is gradual progression. Okay, it means there will be egg, then nymph, then adult. So the porometabolous development is there in the case of cockroach. So answer should be second. 58th question. Genital pouch in female cockroach is formed by, see, when we discuss about the external morphology, we discuss that 7th, 8th, 9th sterna in case of female are fused together to form one sterna. That is the 7th one actually. Okay, and that's why it will be the answer. And you can see in the this diagram. Okay, it is 10th targa, then 9th, 8th, 7th, 6th, while here it is the 7th, 9th, 8th, and 7th are actually fused to form one complete sterna, one complete sternite. So 9th and 8th actually not existing. 7th is the ventral sclerite or sternite there. Then 6th, 5th, and 4th. So it is in case of female. It is in case of female cockroach. So 7th, 8th, and 9th sternites or sterna are fused together to form the genital pouch. Next question is the 59th. Total number of molting occurring in the nymphal stages of cockroach is. So the answer is to learn. There are 13 molting. Next question is 60th. Identify the incorrect match from the following structure of cockroach and their number. Collateral glands are 2 in number. Yes. Gonapophysis are 2. No. Gynovalvular plates 2. Spermatical pore 1. So they are asking about the incorrect match. They are asking about the incorrect match. Okay. So gonapophysis are what? Gonapophysis are representative of external genitalia. They are made up of phallomeres. Okay. So in case of cockroach, in case of male cockroach, there are 3 irregular chitinous plates who together make the gonapophysis. In case of female cockroach, there are 3 pairs of chitinous plates who are making gonapophysis. Okay, but in neither in male nor in female external genitalia, there is involvement of two structures. Okay, so now the thing is, collateral glands are 2 in number. Yes, we can easily see here. Okay, the collateral glands are 2 in number. One are this one, another are this one. Okay, so collateral glands are 2 in number. Yes, gynovalvular plates. Gynovalvular plates are formed in the oothecal chamber. The gynovalvular plates are formed in the oothecal chamber. These are formed in the oothecal chamber. Okay. The oothecal chamber is made by 7th sternite. Okay. So 7th sternite is projected into 2 large oval structures, which are known as the gynovalvular plates. Okay. And what are the functions of gynovalvular plates? These are the location of ootheca formation. These are the location of ootheca formation. Okay. So, and the next one was spermatical pore. See, spermatical pore are 1. Spermatical pore is 1. See here, there's spermatica, and this is the pore. This one is the pore. Okay. So the spermatical pore is 1. Gynovalvular plates are 2. Collateral glands are 2, but the gonapophyses are not 2. Okay, gonapophyses are not 2. Next thing is next question is 61st. Select the incorrect statement about adult frog. Neck is absent. Yes. Tail is absent. Yes. Exoskeleton is absent. Yes. Eyelids are absent. No. Additional eyelid, nictitating membrane is present there. Okay. So incorrect statement is the 4th one. So 4th one will be the answer. Next question is 62nd. Which of the following character of frog is not an adaptation to escape from predators? See, dormancy is the state where the metabolism is where the metabolism slows down and the organism is not so much active, like hibernation and estivation. Okay, so those are the periods of dormancy. But mimicry, camouflage, or protective coloration, these are the synonyms or the broad and narrow terms. Okay, and these are the adaptations to escape from predator. Mimicry is any kind of similarity between you can say any kind of that adaptation in which the organism is adapted to produce sound of any other organism. When the organism is adapted to show color of its surrounding, when the animal is adapted to form nest just like any other organism, or having wing color just like any other organism. So all these things are known as the mimicry. These are the evolutionary adaptations in order to enhance the chances of survival. But the dormancy, it is reflecting the concept of hibernation and estivation. That is not an adaptation to escape from predator, but to survive the unfavorable conditions and unfavorable environmental conditions like extreme summer, in where estivation is done, and extreme winters where hibernation is done. So answer will be the dormancy. They can also frame this question like mark the odd one out. So dormancy will be the odd one. Next question is 63rd. The term not applicable to frog is amniot, poikilotherium, tetrapod. See, about frog we are talking. Okay, about frog we are talking, and we are having 4 options. So you listen. We are having amniotes and anamniotes. Anamniotes. Okay, anamniotes include Pisces and amphibians. Okay, where amniotic membrane is not there. And rest of the tetrapods like reptiles, birds, and mammals are of the category amniotes. Amniota. Okay. Then tetrapod. See, in the tetrapod category, from amphibia to mammalia, there are 4 classes. So it is tetrapod and it is an amniot. Okay, and since the contrasting terms are given in option, so one of them will be the correct answer. So amniot, it is not amniot. Okay, so the amniot term is not applicable to frog. So second will be the answer. So 64th question. Identify the correct statements about frogs. We have to find correct statement. Okay, so nictitating membrane absent, it is incorrect because nictitating membrane are present. Then teeth are absent, it is also incorrect because teeth are present. Eyelids are immovable, this is also incorrect because eyelids are movable. Nictitating membrane is present there, it will move, it will cover the eyes underwater, and it will protect the eyes from any damage. So tympanum present, yes, tympanum is present, so this is correct. So the 4th option is the answer. Next, 65th question is there. Which of the following is not a sexually dimorphic feature of male frog? See, sexual dimorphism is the concept where you can differentiate between male and female member of that species morphologically just by observation. So in this question, it is the male frog dimorphic sexually dimorphic feature they are asking, and they are saying which of the following is not a sexually dimorphic feature. So you have to apply the information of sexual dimorphism, but you have to careful about not. Okay, so vocal sac are sexually dimorphic feature. Production of sound, it is vocal sac are present, so production of sound will be there. Webbed feet are present in case of male as well as female frog. Copulatory pads are present on the index finger, first finger of the forelimb for the copulatory adhesion during the pseudocopulation. So webbed feet is that structure which is not specifically found in male frog. Okay, it is common in male as well as female. So third will be the answer. Then 66th question. The structure that is not a part of forebrain in frog, not a part of forebrain in frog. Optic lobe, olfactory lobe, cerebral hemisphere, diencephalon. See, for this, you should remember this flowchart. This flowchart, that nervous system in frog is having CNS and PNS. In CNS, it is having brain and spinal cord, and in PNS there are 2 things. One is the ANS and another is the SNS. SNS means somatic neural system. Somatic neural system includes the cranial nerves and the spinal nerves. Cranial nerves and the spinal nerves. And the question can also be framed in the cranial nerves because it is anamniote, so 10 pairs of cranial nerves will be there only. Okay, and autonomic nervous system, as you know already, it consists of sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, the emergency and the relaxing nervous system respectively. So the spinal cord will give rise to spinal nerves, and the brain is divided into 3 parts, that is the forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Now forebrain is actually having 3 parts that are olfactory lobes, cerebrum or cerebral hemisphere, you can say, and the diencephalon. While optic lobes are the structures of midbrain only. Okay, and that is our answer. That is our answer. Optic lobes. Optic lobes are not a part of forebrain of frog. Okay. In case of human being, there are auditory lobes also. One question can also be framed here, in case of frog, corpora quadrigemina, corpora quadrigemina exists or corpora bigemina. So corpora bigemina, it means there are two bodies. So one pair of optic lobes, yani means two optic lobes are there. And in case of frog, okay, and corpora quadrigemina agar in case of human beings, where there are four lobes, superior and inferior, and acting as optic lobes, one pair, and olfactory lobes, another one pair. Okay, so this can also be the pattern of framing the question. 67. The special venous connection between liver and alimentary canal in frog is special venous connection. Okay, so they are talking about the portal system. Okay, they are talking about portal system. So venous connection between liver and alimentary canal, or you can say more appropriately, it will be good to say alimentary canal and liver, because the venous drainage of alimentary canal along with the splenic drainage and mesenteric drainage comes toward the liver. So it is the hepatic portal system. It is the hepatic portal system. See, hepatic vein is different. Hepatic vein is the general vein of liver, but hepatic portal vein is that vein which is made by combination of the venous drainage from alimentary canal, spleen, and mesentery. Okay, so the answer will be the hepatic portal system. Next is the 68th question. Statement 1, alimentary canal of frog is relatively shorter compared to rabbit. Statement 2, frogs are carnivore. See, rabbit are not carnivore. Okay, and the herbivorous herbivore animals are having relatively longer alimentary canal. So alimentary canal of frog is relatively shorter compared to rabbit. Yes. So statement first is true and statement second is also true. So it will be the both statement 1 and statement 2 are true. 68th, it will be the answer 1. Answer is first. In frogs, 69th question, food is captured by both the jaws. Actually, forelimbs and hind limbs are used for locomotion just. Okay. And jaws and teeth, both teeth are very miniature, very smaller. Okay. So they will not be used to capture the food actually. Okay. Bilobed tongue will be the answer. I hope you all have remembered this thing, that the attachment of tongue on the lower jaw of frog is not like us. Okay, not like that of in case of human being. Okay, in case of human being, actually the tongue is free at the anterior end and it is attached to the posterior end by hyoid bone like this. Okay, but in case of frog, it is like this. It is attached from the anterior end and free posterior. So it actually unfold like this. It captures the food and then back. So bilobe tongue is helping the frog in food capturing. So 69th question, third will be the answer. Next is 70th question. Identify the incorrect statement they are asking about. Frog uses its limbs for leaping and burrowing. Yes. See, limbs of frogs are useful mainly for digging the soil and running. No, it does not run. It does not run. Okay. So 70th question, second should be answer. Soil digging is okay, but it does not run. Okay. But okay, third option, limbs of frog are with clawless digits. Yeah, claws are not present there. Forelimbs are shorter than the hind limbs. Yes, and hind limbs are more muscular than the forelimbs. Yes, it is also true. But the second option is having some incorrect thing in this. They do not run. Okay, so second will be the answer. Question number 71. Statement 1. Frog never drinks water. Yes, it never drinks water. Okay, whatever amount of water it needs, actually it absorbs from the skin directly because its skin is moist, thin, and highly vascular. Statement 2. Frog absorb water through skin. Yes. So statement 1 and 2 both are correct, and statement 2 is correctly explaining the statement 1. If statement 1 would have been the assertion and statement 2 would have been the reason, then the answer would have been the A or 1. Okay, that is the assertion and reason both are correct, and reason is correct explanation of assertion. So both statement 1 and 2 are correct. 72nd, method of respiration of frog in water. In water, there is a change in the surrounding media, no? Okay, it becomes aquatic only. So in the aquatic region, there cannot be inhalation of air. Okay, there cannot be inhalation and exhalation occurring there. So it will be the responsibility of only skin to perform respiration. And see, there is a very interesting point over here, that skin is the only respiratory surface, respiratory membrane, which is helping the frog to respire when it is on land, when it is in water, and when it is in the dormancy. Dormancy, it means hibernation and aestivation, because it is burying itself in the mud. So the mud is having the water amount, and in that water the dissolved oxygen is being absorbed via skin, because in the mud it cannot breathe. Okay, so the exchange of gases are taking place because of skin. So cutaneous respiration is the versatile one. Cutaneous respiration is the versatile one. Okay, it is helping the frog to respire on land, on water, and in the dormancy period during hibernation and aestivation as well. So the answer should be 3. 73rd question. Cloaca in frog is common opening 4. See, cloaca is having the drainage of 3 tracts. That is the digestive tract, urinary tract, and the reproductive tract. Okay, digestive tract, urinary tract, and the reproductive tract. Digestive is there, urinary is there, and reproductive is there. This is cloaca. Representatively, I am making this diagram. This is the cloacal aperture to exit. So this is cloaca. This is the digestive tract, urinary tract, and genital tract or reproductive tract. Okay, many times that is in the case of male frog, the urinary tract combined with the genital tract already. So we can also say that digestive tract and urinogenital tract are having their common opening in a chamber that is known as cloaca. That is known as cloaca. We can also say that in case of frog, yes. So digestive system and urinogenital system, this will be the answer. 73rd first. Next is the 74th question. Match the following pertaining to cockroach gonopophysis in female. 3 pairs? Yes. So A second. It is of second and third option both. Spermatophore, bundle of sperm. Spermatophore are known as the bundle of sperm. So B is matching with the fourth, and A is matching with the second. So A second and B fourth is the second option. So it will be the answer. Okay, but still, let's discuss about the common oviduct. See, common oviduct opens into the genital pouch. Okay, but common oviduct is known as the vagina, and vestibulum is actually the part of genital pouch. There are 2 parts of genital pouch. Here also you can see genital pouch is having two parts. Number one, the genital chamber, and number two, the vestibulum. Okay, that's why it is matching with this. So the answer should be what? Answer should be second. 75th question. In frog, large intestine is represented by rectum, never. Cecum, never. Ileum, never, because ileum is, we all know, as compared to human being. If you talk about human being, ileum, duodenum, jejunum, ileum are the three parts of the small intestine. Okay, and large intestine in case of human being also is represented by colon and not cecum, and never rectum. Okay, so it is the colon which is the absorptive part. So 75th question, second answer. 76th, which of the following is not a bilobed structure in frog? See, in case of frog, liver is trilobed, I agree. Tongue is bilobed, I agree. Urinary bladder are having two lobes, I agree. But pancreas is only the structure which is intact, which is singular. Okay, it is not bilobed. So we can, in loose sense, we can say that yes, pancreas will be the answer. Otherwise, it is a little bit different type of question, where the examiner is considering liver as the bilobed structure. So, or the examiner wants you to choose between the two things. Okay, so pancreas is not a bilobed structure. It is not having 3 lobe, 4 lobe, or anything. It is unilobed structure. Okay, so if you argue that sir, liver is having 3 lobes in case of frog, and that's why liver can also be the answer. So actually, sometimes we have to give priority to more correct answer. So it will be the pancreas only. 77. Which of the following character is not true about the blood vascular system in frog? Heart is 3-chambered with 2 atria and single ventricle. Good, right? Major veins open into right atrium. Actually, major veins open into sinus venosus. That is the additional chamber. But let's see. Conus arteriosus arise from ventricle. Yes, true. Arterial system carries blood to all body parts. Yes, they do so. Okay, which is not true is this. Actually, major veins open into right atrium. No, major veins open into sinus venosus. Then there is right atrium. Then there is common ventricle, and then representatively we can make this diagram like this. Otherwise, this conus arteriosus is on the ventral side. Okay, it is on the ventral side. So this is the sinus venosus. These are the major veins. These are the major veins. This is ventricle, conus arteriosus, and the left auricle, right auricle. Okay, done. So 77th question, answer second. 78th, renal portal system is special venous connection between. Second time the question from portal system is coming here. Renal portal system is a special venous connection between the liver and kidney, alimentary canal and kidney, kidney and cloacal chamber, kidney and lower body part. Yes, actually the hind limbs or fins are having direct venous drainage into the kidney in order to get rid of any nitrogenous waste, because hind limbs and fins are much active parts because they are used in the locomotion. Okay, so it will be the kidneys and lower body parts. So renal portal system, see, in Pisces and tetrapoda, in Pisces and amphibia, we will see what? We will say what about the renal portal system? It is present in case of Pisces and amphibia. It is rudimentary in case of reptilia and apes. And it is absent. The vestigial parts even cannot be found in case of mammals. Okay, it is rudimentary in case of reptiles and apes. Okay, so the question may come from there, from the animal kingdom point of view also. 79th question, identify the correct statement from the following. Sinus venosus is present on the ventral side of heart. No. Conus arteriosus is present on the ventral side of heart. Conus arteriosus arises from ventricle on the dorsal side of heart? No, on the ventral side. Right atrium receives oxygenated blood from sinus venosus? Yes. Just a moment ago, we discussed this. And sinus venosus receives blood through vena cava. Right atrium receives oxygenated blood? No, deoxygenated blood. Okay. So sinus venosus receives blood through vena cava. This is correct. You have to choose the correct statement. So answer should be fourth. 80. Lymph differ from blood in the absence of erythrocyte. That's it. It possesses leukocyte. It possesses plasma proteins also. Electrolyte like sodium, potassium, all ions are present there. Okay, because see, lymph is being formed from tissue fluid, and tissue fluid is formed from blood. So the composition of blood is more or less similar to that of lymph. But the main difference is this: leukocyte can perform diapedesis or pseudopodial movement and go into the tissue fluid, from where it is forming the lymph. So leukocyte may be there, plasma protein are diffusible, they may be there, and the electrolytes are the ions. They are dissolved in the water, the plasma. Okay, that's why in the tissue fluid, that's why in the lymph. But the erythrocytes are not having that capacity of moving across the blood capillaries and going to the tissue fluid. No. Okay, so lymph differs from blood in the absence of erythrocytes. Question 81. Incorrect match from the following: cerebellum, forebrain. No, it is the part of hindbrain. No, so it is the answer actually. But see, optic lobe, midbrain. Yes. Olfactory lobe, center of the smell. Yes. Olfaction is considered as smell. Medulla oblongata, hindbrain. Yes, actually cerebellum, pons and medulla oblongata are the part of hindbrain, not the forebrain. Okay, that's why it is the incorrect match. That's why it is the correct answer. Next is 82nd. Unpaired part of forebrain in frog is cerebrum. Cerebral hemispheres are there. Diencephalon, yes, diencephalon is not paired. Cerebellum is not the part of forebrain even. Okay, just a moment ago we discussed that cerebellum is part of hindbrain as the medulla oblongata is. So diencephalon is the singular one. Okay, it is the unpaired part. So answer should be second. 83rd, medulla oblongata continues as spinal cord passing through the opening called. It is the largest foramen of the human being, or largest foramen of the body also. It is the foramen magnum. Foramen magnum will be the correct answer. So what is foramen ovale? What is foramen ovale? What is fenestra ovalis? What is fenestra rotunda? Okay, so foramen ovale is the oval opening between the right auricle and the left auricle in case of embryo, which later on fills up. Fenestra ovalis is the oval window of the internal ear, and fenestra rotundus is the round window of the internal ear. Okay, oval window and round window are the locations found in the internal ears. Foramen ovale is found in the heart, in the embryonic level. Okay, in human being. Foramen magnum is found as the connection between the cavity of cranium and the vertebral column. Okay, so foramen magnum is that part. It is a hole in the occipital bone. Foramen magnum. Question number 84, statement 1. In male frog, urinogenital ducts are present carrying urine and sperms. Yes. In male frog, urinogenital duct are present and it carry urine as well as sperms. Yes, it is true. It is true. Let me show you with the help of a diagram. We can see in this diagram. See, the urinogenital tract or urinogenital duct is here labeled. It is generally what? It is actually the ureter, no? Okay, it is arising from kidney, but the testes are giving rise to vasa efferentia joining bitter canal joining the ureter to make the ureter urinogenital duct. Okay, so actually the secretions of testes are uniting the ureter to make it urinogenital duct, not just ureter. Okay, so that's why we can say yes. The in male frog urinogenital duct are present carrying urine and sperm. Statement 2 is in male frog ureters are absent. No, ureters are present. Ureters are present. Okay, but ureters are actually urinogenital ducts. So ureters are present here. So in the statement second, it is saying that in male frogs, ureter are absent. So it is incorrect. So statement 1 is correct and statement 2 is incorrect. So third will be the answer. 85th question. In frog, urinary bladder is present. Yes, it is present. Ventral to rectum, dorsal to rectum, above the cloacal chamber, above the rectum. So it is the 85th question. See, this is the rectum. Okay, and this is cloaca, and these are the urinary bladder, and the figure which we are seeing, which we are observing here, is the supine position, or when we dissect the frog, we clip its forelimbs and hind limbs on the board. Okay, like this, and then we dissect it. So actually we are seeing its ventral side. So urinary bladder are present anterior to it, no? So urinary bladder are present ventral to the rectum, ventral to the rectum. So answer should be first, ventral to rectum. Now these questions have been done. Now section B, see section B. Identify the parts of the genital pouch in the given diagram. Parts of genital pouch. See, you can compare this diagram with this one. Okay, you can compare this with this one. So the part of genital pouch, let me zoom it a little bit. Yeah, now see, A is ovariole, B is oviduct, C is genital, this is the common oviduct or vagina, and then D are the collateral gland. Actually it is E, F, E and F, okay, which are the part of genital pouch. Okay, what are the part? Genital atrium or genital chamber and the vestibulum. So the answer should be E and F. Answer should be E and F. 86th question. Okay. Next, 87th question. Statement 1. Incomplete blood circulation is found in frog. Incomplete blood circulation, yes. Why? Because mixed blood is being pumped by ventricle. Okay, so we can say that incomplete blood circulation is there. Statement second. Heart is three-chambered in frog. Yes, heart is three-chambered in frog. If it would have been the question of assertion and reason, then answer would have been the first. Okay, because reason is explaining the assertion. So both statement 1 and 2 are correct. So 87 is having answer 1. 88, number of aortic arches in frog. Number of aortic arches in frog. See, in case of frog, there are three pairs to 5 pairs. There are 3 pairs of aortic arches. See, in the diagram, the heart is giving rise to truncus arteriosus. The truncus arteriosus is dividing into 2 branches, left and right, and then from left or right, 3 branches are arising. Okay, so first branch you can say carotid, another branch you can say pulmocutaneous, and the third branch you can say systemic branch. Okay, so here you can say that this is conus arteriosus over here. Okay, conus arteriosus arising and giving 2 branches, left and right, and now this is the carotid arch, the first arch. Then the second arch is this one. Okay, that is the pulmocutaneous arch, and this thick arch. Okay, this one. It is going downward in the body. So it is the systemic one. Okay. So each side, the branch of truncus arteriosus is giving rise to three arches. Okay. What are these? Carotid arches, carotid arch, palmocutaneous, and the systemic one. Okay. So answer should be 1. Question number 89. Ovipositor in female cockroach is constituted by. Ovipositor is the structure actually where the eggs are being laid down. Okay, so it is actually the structure which is made by gonapophysis. It is made by the gonapophysis. Okay. Gonapophysis are what? See, phallomeres to join together to form a structure known as gonapophysis. So there may be some confusion to choose between these two. Okay, but your concept should be clear that caudal style is not going to be the answer because it is found in the male cockroach. Okay, the thing is complete here. Now ovarian tubules are found in the ovaries. So the ovarian tubules are the site of formation of egg, not the laying. Okay, so gonapophysis are having ovipositor in them. So the answer should be 3rd. Question number 19. Cockroach, the outer layer of spermatophore is formed by the secretion of. Many times question like this is asked. Okay. Number 1, what is spermatophore? Spermatophore is the group of sperms. Okay. Group of sperms that are made. That group is made in the seminal vesicle. Okay. Glued in seminal vesicle. Seminal vesicle. So spermatophore is having 3 layers. The inner, the middle one, and the outer. So what are the sources of these layers? Innermost is from utricular glands or the mushroom glands. The middle layer by the ejaculatory duct itself. And the third and outermost layer is formed by the secretion of the phallic gland. Okay, so this concept should be clear to you. Spermatophore. So here they are talking about the outer layer. So the answer will be phallic gland. Third. Question number 91, statement 1. Pheromones are the chemicals released by sex into the external environment. Yes. Pheromones are detected by members of same species. Yes. Okay, so both statements are correct. Okay, 91. Both statements are correct. See, pheromones are special kind of hormones, and yeah, we can say that pheromones are the chemical which are helping to communicate between the member of same species, among the member of same species. So that's why the second statement is also true. Answer will be the 1. 92nd question. Frog resemble toad in their habit and habitat, body size, cutaneous respiration, leaping movement. Okay, see, toads are not always found near the water body, and the size of toad is also variable. Cutaneous respiration is not a must condition there, but leaping movement is. So the question number 92 answer will be 4th. The habit is different. They are not always found near the water reservoir, and thus habitat also got changed. The body size is the body size of toad is smaller as compared to frog. Then cutaneous respiration is not a must condition because skin is dry there. Okay, in case of toads, since they are not regularly bathing themselves in the water reservoir, their skin is bumpy, warty, and it means it is rough. It is not so slippery because of absence of mucus glands, and cutaneous respiration is not there. So answer should be 4. Next question, 93rd. Frog belongs to superclass. So superclass is Gnathostomata was the group, jaw bearing. It was a group of subphylum Vertebrata, and then it was the Pisces and the Tetrapoda. They were Pisces and Tetrapoda, 2 superclasses. So this frog belongs to superclass Tetrapoda, and the class Amphibia. phylum Chordata, and the group Craniata. Okay, when we talk about the protochordate and euchordate, it comes into the Craniata. It means the euchordata. In euchordata, it comes under the vertebrata. In vertebrata, it comes under the Gnathostomata. In Gnathostomata, it comes under Tetrapoda superclass. Amphibia is the class, and Anura is the order. Okay, so we can trace its classification like this also here. Okay. Chordata, then it is euchordata, not protochordata, so it is Craniata. It is craniate, and then it is vertebrate. It is vertebrate, and in vertebrate it is having jaw. That's why it is gnathostome. It comes under gnathostomata. In gnathostomata, it is having the tetrapoda class, superclass, and amphibia class. In amphibia class, it is having Anura order. Okay, so this is the taxonomical positioning of frog. Frog and toad both up to this point. So the answer will be third, Tetrapoda superclass. 94th question. Which of the following feature is correct pertaining to frog? Frog are amonotelic and they are not amonotelic. Okay, first of all, so it is incorrect. Frog are amonotelic and excrete hypotonic urine. It means dilute urine. No, they are amonotelic. First of all, this is wrong. Okay, so next, frog are ureotelic. Yes, they excrete concentrated urine. See, frog lives nearby water, so it is not having scarcity of water. So no need to excrete concentrated urine. No need to conserve water at that much extent. Okay, so it will also not be correct. Frog are uricotelic. It is wrong. Frog are ureotelic and excrete dilute urine. Yes, why dilute urine? Because they are having abundant of water in their body and surrounding environment also. So 94 answer will be fourth. 95th question, exocrine gland present above the kidneys is the endocrine glands, which are present above kidney. Adrenal glands. This will be the answer. Yes, not in case of frog. Not in case of frog, because you can see here. You can see here, adrenal gland is this. It is really adjacent to the kidneys. It is really adjacent, adrenal. Okay, it is not suprarenal. Okay, in case of human being also it is named as adrenal. Okay, but it is crown. It is on the top of the kidney, but it is not in the case of frog. It is just adjacent to it. Okay, but you can say according to this available options and the framing of question, the answer should be 1. 96th question, posterior chamber of brood pouch in female cockroach is known as the vestibulum. Many times we came across this thing. See here. Posterior, the anterior chamber is the genital chamber. The posterior chamber is the vestibulum here in the genital pouch. Okay, so vestibulum will be the answer. Is the question number 96. Vestibulum is the answer. 97. Identify the parts A, B, C in the following diagram. The NCERT diagram, digestive system diagram. A, B, and C they are asking about. So A is what? A is rectum. B is the cloaca. C is the urinary bladder. Okay, and respectively we have to tell. So A is the rectum. B is the cloaca, and C is the urinary bladder. The first one is the answer. And what is this? What is this? This is esophagus. This is liver. Okay, and these are lungs, and the fat bodies, and the kidneys, the ureter, and the intestine and the stomach. Okay. Next is 98th question. Which of the following statement is not true about the kidneys of frog? Not true about the kidneys of frog. They are retroperitoneal organs. Kidneys are retroperitoneal. They are found behind peritoneum. Peritoneal membrane, okay, travels anterior to them, ventral to them. So they are behind peritoneum. So they are not known as retroperitoneum. It is true. They are present on either side of vertebral column. This is also true. They are asking about not true. Okay. So they are covered by parietal peritoneum on the ventral side. Yes. We just discussed. Okay. We just discussed. They are covered by parietal peritoneum on the ventral side. They are covered by visceral peritoneum on the ventral side. No, no, actually. And how is it so? See here. If this is the dorsal body wall and these are the kidneys attached to dorsal body wall, then this is the parietal peritoneum and this is the visceral peritoneum. So visceral peritoneum is inside, inner to the parietal peritoneum. So we cannot say, and this is the ventral side of the animal. This is the dorsal side. This is the attachment ligament and this is the kidney. Okay. So this is the parietal peritoneum and this is the visceral peritoneum. So we can say that they are behind the peritoneum. They are retroperitoneal. Yes. Okay. And the parietal peritoneum cover them from the ventral side. Yes. This is the ventral side. Yeah, they cover, but visceral peritoneum is not covering them. So the answer should be fourth. 99th question, identify correct match from the following structures in the body of frog. Gallbladder secretion of bile juice? No. Gallbladder does not secrete, they just concentrate. Cerebral hemisphere, involuntary action, oviduct, Wolffian duct, buccopharyngeal cavity, force pump. Correct match is the force pump one. Cerebral hemisphere are involved in the voluntary actions. Involuntary actions from the medulla oblongata. Okay. Then gallbladder secretion of bile juice. No, they store the bile juice. They concentrate the bile juice. Okay. They concentrate the bile juice. And the Wolffian duct is the duct. These are the paired ducts. Okay. That connect the primitive kidney to cloaca during the embryonic development also. Okay. During the embryonic development, in case of human being also, if we talk about, then these are the mesonephric ducts. They connect the kidneys to cloaca. Okay. Yes, cloaca is present in early embryonic developmental phase in case of human being also. Okay. Later on, this Wolffian duct actually form the trigon of the urinary bladder. Do you know trigon? Trigon of the urinary bladder. This is the urinary bladder. So the ureter are joining here. So this region, lower region, where there is opening of this ureter, left and right ureter, and opening of urinary bladder. So this is known as the trigon. Trigon of urinary bladder. So Wolffian duct, the fate of Wolffian duct in case of human being is the trigon of urinary bladder. So it is also not a correct match. Oviduct is not matched to Wolffian duct. Okay, it is related with the excretion actually, not reproduction. So buccopharyngeal cavity is connected with force pump because it has to accumulate the air into the buccal cavity and then it has to swell up the buccopharyngeal membrane. Okay, so buccopharyngeal cavity is connected with the force pump. From buccopharyngeal cavity there is a development of pressure also towards the lungs because there is positive pressure breathing. Okay, the air is force pumped into the lungs because there are no ribs and diaphragm to make the lungs inflate with the help of muscular power. No, it is not like that. Okay, in case of frog there is positive pressure breathing. In case of human being there is negative pressure breathing. Okay, So later on in the case of in the chapter breathing and exchange of gases, we will explore further this positive and negative pressure breathing. But for a while, you can understand this thing that the frog inflate its lungs just like a balloon. Okay, so that is known as the positive pressure breathing. So that is known as the positive pressure breathing. So answer will be the fourth. 100th question. Which of the following statement is not true about frog? Ureter open into cloacal chamber. Good. It is true. Rectum open into cloacal chamber. It is also true. Ureter open into urinary bladder. No. Urinary bladder open to cloaca. Yes. This is not true. This is not true. That's why this will be the answer. Ureter is not opening into urinary bladder. See, if you are saying ureter open into cloacal chamber and then you are having this option ureters open into urinary bladder. So 50-50 is there. Either 1 or 3 is the answer. So 3 is the answer. Third is the answer. Urinary bladder are not having openings of ureter. Okay. So this was our paper. I hope you all have done well and you will score maximum according to your capacity, and you will learn from this paper if you have made some mistakes. So thank you. See you in the discussion of the next paper. Okay. Thank you. Take care.